Hello. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for the Great Lakes Great Books Award announcement for 2023-24. My name is Jessie Schertz. I'm the library director of the Ishpeming Carnegie Public Library located in Ishpeming, Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula. This is my 13th year on the committee and my third as a chair or co-chair. It is my first year being co-chair with Heather.
I am Heather Lander. I'm the children's librarian at the Ishpeming Carnegie Public Library. So I've had the pleasure of working with Jessie for all these years. It's my 11th year on the Great Lakes Great Books Committee, but only my first year as co-chair. So.
And it's been great.
Yes, it has been really good.
Much more fun with the co-chair.
Yeah. We would like to thank all of our committee members for the time they spent reading, vetting, suggesting books, and discussing all of the phenomenal kids' books with us this year. It's a lot of work, and we really appreciate all of your effort. And we would especially like to thank Lynette Suko. She's a longtime committee member. She's been chair for many years, previous years, and she's put in a lot of work into this committee, and this was her last year serving on the committee, and we wish her luck in her future endeavors, and we will miss her very much.
Very much. I'm sure she'll hear from us whenever I have a question. So the Great Lakes Great Books Award was established in 1987 by the Michigan Reading Association. The frequency and categories in which the award is given have fluctuated over the years. But it became an annual award during the 1995-96 school year, and it solidified into the current 5 categories in 2004-2005. The purpose of the award is to celebrate recent literature with Michigan students, recent literature with literary merit and kid appeal, specifically, that present multiple points of view, while highlighting the election process in the selection of the winners. The committee is made up of Michigan teachers and librarians who read broadly across children's books published in the current year and 1 year previous to create our list of nominees. Outside nominations from the public and publishers are also considered and recommended. Please do. We love nominations from Michigan residents. 8 nominees are chosen for each of the following 5 categories: kindergarten and first grade, second and third grade, 4th and 5th grade, 6th through 8th grade, and 9th through 12th grade. Michigan students then vote on their favorite books in each category. Winners are determined by the number of votes each title receives. So the book with the most votes is our winner, and so on in descending order with up to 2 honor books. Winners of the current year and nominees for the next year are announced at the Michigan Reading Association's annual conference held in March, which is this announcement. Sorry. The committee maintains a web presence on the Michigan Reading Association's website, michiganreading.org/great-lakes-great-books. And we're also on social media. We're at GLG Books on Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter, and at Great Lakes Great Books on Instagram.
So now we're on to our announcement of our, first we'll reveal the winners that were voted by Michigan students last year, and then we'll move on to the new batch of nominees that kids can start voting on immediately following this announcement. So our honor and winner books will be in reverse order: second honor book, first honor book, and then the winner for each category. So we will begin.
Excellent.
All right. First, for the K1 category, our first honor book is Somewhere in the Bayou by Jerome Pumphrey and Jarrett Pumphrey, published by Norton Young Readers. And our next honor book is Night Owl by Christopher Denise, published by Christy Ottaviano Books. And our winner of this category is Out of a Jar by Deborah Marcereau, published by G.P. Putnam's Sons.
And now we will share a little bit about each book with you. Bear with me for one moment here. There we go.
All right, somewhere in the bayou. Rat, squirrel, rabbit, and mouse want to cross the bayou. But next to the log they are considering as a bridge is a sneaky tail, which may be attached to someone dangerous. Each of the four approach the problem with a different strategy with varying results. Night Owl. A determined owl builds strength and confidence in this medieval picture book about the real mettle of a hero, wits, humor, and heart. And out of a jar. Llewellyn, a little rabbit overwhelmed by his emotions, hides away his feelings in glass jars until he discovers life is more colorful when he sets his emotions free.
Excellent. Thank you for those. I will do the next category. So the winners for the second and third grade category are, the first honor book in the second and third grade category is My Parents Won't Stop Talking, written and illustrated by Emma Hunsinger and Tilly Walden, published by Roaring Brook Press. Our next honor book is Listen to the Language of the Trees, a story of how forests communicate underground by Tara Kelly, illustrated by Marie Hermanson and published by Dawn Publications. And our winner in the 2-3 category is The Sweetest Scoop, Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream Revolution by Lisa Robinson, illustrated by Stacy Innerst and published by Abrams Books for Young Readers. And now we'll do the same for these. So My Parents Won't Stop Talking. A little girl has big plans for her day at the park, but when her two mums stop to talk to some chatty neighbors, she is convinced that her whole day will be completely ruined. Listen to the language of the trees. Readers will discover that trees have their own social network, and helping one another thrive is trending. It captures the magic of talking trees that take care of their neighbors, not to mention the mysterious fungi that help them do it. And finally, our winner, The Sweetest Scoop. This fun-filled biography of legendary ice cream makers Ben and Jerry reveals how they started their business, made it successful, and became activists to make the world better, one scoop at a time.
And our honor books and winner books in the 4 through 5 category. First honor book is The Real Dada Mother Goose, a treasury of complete nonsense by John Sheska, illustrated by Julia Rothman, published by Candlewick Press. The classic nursery rhymes we know and love, upside down, backward, in gibberish, and fresh out of bounds, as only John Sheska could stage them. Answers in the Pages by David Levithan, published by Knopf Books for Young Readers. When his mother rallies other parents to pull the book he's reading from the district curriculum because it depicts a relationship between two boys, Donovan must speak up and stand out to stop this book from being banned. And finally, our winner is The Aquanaut by Dan Santat, published by Graphics. Oh, I read all of the things.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, we'll do it now.
Yeah,
all right.
Here we go.
With her father last at sea, Sophie wanders aimlessly around Aqualand, a marine theme park, until an aquanaut breaks into the park's research lab, revealing Aqualand's dark side and vowing to free the captive marine life with her help. Sorry about that, Jessie.
Hey,
all the information
gets out there. That's all that matters.
Okay, this time we won't do that.
You can stop me if I do. All right. So next up is our 6th through 8th grade category. Our first honor book is Scout is Not a Band Kid by Jade Armstrong, published by RH Graphic. Our next honor book is Ivelisse Explains It All by Andrea Beatriz Arango, illustrated by Alyssa Bermudez, published by Random House Children's Books. And our winner in the 6th through 8th category is The Golden Hour by Nikki Smith, published by Little Brown and Company. And then I will, read a little bit about each. Scout is not a band kid. When Scout learns that her favorite author is doing an exclusive autograph session at the end of the year, she's determined to be there. She officially needs a plan. And when she finds out that her school's band is heading to the same location for their annual trip, an idea takes shape. Being a band kid can't be that hard, right? Ivelisse Explains It All 12-year-old Evelise is trying to manage her mental health and advocate for the help and understanding she deserves. But in the meantime, her new friend calls her crazy, and her abuela Mimi dismisses the therapy and medicine Evelise needs to feel like herself. And the winner in our 6 through 8 category, The Golden Hour. Struggling with anxiety after witnessing a harrowing instance of gun violence, Manuel Soto copes through photography, using his cell phone camera to find anchors that keep him grounded. His days are a lonely, latchkey monotony until he's teamed with his classmates, Sebastian and Keisha, for a group project.
And finally, in our 9th through 12th grade category, we have, for our honor books, The Name She Gave Me by Betty Cully, published by Harper Teen. Ain't Burned All the Bright by Jason Reynolds, illustrated by Jason Griffin, published by Athenaeum and Caitlin DeLuey Books. And finally, our winner is I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, published by Philomel Books. And then I can read a little bit about each one. The Name She Gave Me. Rin was born with a hole in her heart, literally. Although it was fixed long ago, she still feels an emptiness there when she wonders about her birth family. As her relationship with her adoptive mother fractures, Rin finally decides she needs to know more about the rest of her family. Ain't Burned All the Bright. A smash up of art and text that viscerally captures what it means to not be able to breathe and how the people and things you love the most are actually the oxygen you most need. And I Must Betray You. In a country governed by isolation, fear, and a tyrannical dictator, 17-year-old Cristian Florescu is blackmailed by the secret police to become an informer, but he decides to use his position to try to outwit his handler, undermine the regime, give voice to fellow Romanians, and expose to the world what is happening in his country.
Congratulations to the winners and honor books of each category and to the Michigan children who voted for their favorites. Now we will move on to this year's nominees. Also exciting. Each year, our committee reads hundreds of books. We add the best to our group reading list, and then we meet annually in January to select the 40 nominees. We include fiction and nonfiction, graphic novels, and include multiple points of view in each group, striving for high reader interest. Here are our 2024-25 nominees. All right. First, we will share the nominees in our kindergarten and first grade category, beginning with Henry, Like Always by Jen Bailey, illustrated by Mika Song, published by Chronicle Books. Henry likes Classroom 10. He likes knowing how it is always the same. But this week, Henry's class will have a parade. And a parade means having share time on the wrong day. A parade means playing instruments that are too loud. A parade means this week is not like always. Join Henry as he navigates the ups and downs of marker missiles, stomach volcanoes, and days that feel a little too orange. This warmly funny book starring a child on the autism spectrum is a reassuring read for school-bound kids of all stripes. Cinderella with Dogs by Linda Bailey, illustrated by Freya Hartus, published by Nancy Paulson Books. Cinderella meets her fairy dog mother, who helps her get ready for the ball. One Chicken Nugget by Tyke Bentley, published by Balzer and Bray. Everybody knows monsters love chicken nuggets, but Frank loved them more than most. This is a problem if you happen to sell chicken nuggets, and Celeste sells the finest nuggets around. But Frank scares her other customers away, so she's forced to cook up an eating contest of monstrous proportions to get rid of him. If Frank wins, Celeste will make him free chicken nuggets for life. But if he loses, he must leave and never return. Animals in Pants by Susie Levinson, illustrated by Kristen and Kevin Howdeshell, published by Cameron Kids. Author Susie Levinson and artists Kristen and Kevin Howdeshell present an irreverently illustrated picture book of simple and silly poems featuring all kinds of animals wearing all kinds of pants. What? You've never seen animals in pants? A dog in yoga pants? A goat in overalls? A yak in slacks? Just Snow Already by Howard McWilliam, published by Flashlight Press. When the forecast calls for snow, one little boy is thrilled. He keeps peeking outside to see if it's snowing, but he only looks up. His single-minded focus on the sky makes him completely miss the increasingly comical chaos occurring outside his door, which includes a monster truck, a fire truck, escaped monkeys, and carousing clowns. Chickadee Criminal Mastermind by Monica Sylvie, illustrated by Alina Ellis, published by Kids Can Press. Believing himself to be the king of thieves, when his quest for food leads him to a vault near a house, Chickadee makes a discovery and a friend, proving he might not be an all-around bad seed after all. Sprout Branches Out by Jessica von Innerebner, published by Roaring Brook Press. Pulling up her roots to find what she needs to thrive, Sprout the plant quickly learns that what she really needs may not be what she thought at all in this hilarious and heartfelt adventure about growing up, taking risks, and finding home again. And finally, Luli and the Language of Tea by Andrea Wang, illustrated by Haewon Yum, published by Neil Porter Books. Though they may speak different languages, kids from all over the world come together to enjoy the shared pastime of tea in this delicious book for young readers.
All right, our nominees in the 2nd through 3rd grade category. First up is Stranded, a mostly true story from Iceland by Ivar Thor Benediktsson, illustrated by Ann Wilson, published by Barefoot Books. Based on a true story, the author humorously recounts the time his grandfather got stranded with a friend on Surtsey, a brand new volcanic island in Iceland. The adventurers face epic challenges like molten lava, melted eyeglasses, and scant supplies before finally getting rescued. How the Sea Came to Be and All the Creatures in It by Jennifer Byrne, illustrated by Amanda Hall, published by Eerdmans Books for Young Readers. Meticulously researched and illustrated with awe-inspiring art, this accessible introduction to geology, oceanography, and marine biology explores the ocean from its dramatic evolutionary past to its incredibly biodiverse present. Otis and Peanut by Nassim Harab, illustrated by Kelly Collier, published by Owl Kids Books. In 3 stories told in graphic novel form, long-haired guinea pig Otis and naked mole rat Peanut explore themes of loss, fear of change, and cooperation while demonstrating what it means to be a supportive and caring friend. The Skull by John Clausen, published by Candlewick Press. In a big abandoned house lives a skull. A brave girl named Otilla escapes from terrible danger and runs away. When she gets lost in the dark forest, she finds her way to the lonely house. The skull is afraid of something too. It comes every night. Can brave Otilla save them both? Virginia Wouldn't Slow Down. The Unstoppable Dr. Apgar and Her Life-Saving Invention by Carrie Pearson, illustrated by Nancy Carpenter, published by Norton Young Readers. A delightful and distinctive picture book recounts the story of Dr. Virginia Apgar, who invented the eponymous test for evaluating newborn health that's used worldwide every day. The Story of Gumluck the Wizard by Adam Rex, published by Chronicle Books. This is a story about magic. If you like that kind of thing, it is also a story about a ghost with amnesia, an unpopular fairy, an ungrateful little town, and an extremely wise and helpful raven, who happens to be a pretty talented storyteller. But mostly, it is about a friendly little wizard who lives inside a big hill and really, really, really wants to be a hero. His name is Gumluck, and he is a bumbling noodlehead. Every Dog in the Neighborhood by Philip C. Stead, illustrated by Matthew Cordell, published by Neil Porter Books. Louis and his eccentric grandmother set out to count every dog in the neighborhood when they find out about City Hall's woefully inadequate record keeping. And finally, How Do You Spell Unfair? Magnolia Cox and the National Spelling Bee by Carol Boston Weatherford, illustrated by Frank Morrison and published by Candlewick Press. This true story of determination and groundbreaking achievement follows 8th grade African-American spelling champion Magnolia Cox, who left Akron, Ohio in 1936 to compete in the prestigious National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C., only to be met with prejudice and discrimination.
Next up are this year's nominees in our 4th and 5th grade category. They are Elf Dog and Owl Head by M.T. Anderson, illustrated by Junyi Wu, published by Candlewick Press. Quarantined with his family as a global plague ravages the world, Clay retreats to the woods, where he meets a special little dog who leads him on surreal adventures, where choosing the wrong path could cause them both to lose their way forever. My Head Has a Bellyache, and More Nonsense for Mischievous Kids and Immature Grown-Ups by Chris Harris, illustrated by Andrea Sarumi, published by Little Brown and Company. Filled with mind-bending verbal and visual riddles and comedic chaos, this hilarious follow-up to I'm Just No Good at Rhyming introduces a whole new cast of colorful characters, including the nail-clipping fairy, Orlok the Destroyer, and the elderly caveman. Hummingbird by Natalie Lloyd, published by Scholastic Press. 12-year-old Olive, who is seen as fragile due to brittle bone disease, searches for a magical, wish-granting hummingbird that could possibly make her most desperate secret wish come true. Camp Sylvania by Julie Murphy, published by Balzer and Bray. A hilarious and spooky middle-grade summer camp story that takes a bite out of Fat Camp as it follows Magnolia, Maggie, Hagen, to Camp Rising Star, where the reputed camp ghost may be the least scary thing about the place. Mysterious Glowing Mammals. An unexpected discovery sparks a scientific investigation by Maria Parrott Ryan, published by Millbrook Press. One night, a scientist discovered something surprising in his own backyard, a flying squirrel that glowed bright pink. Follow along on an investigation into flying squirrels and other mammals that glow when exposed to ultraviolet light. Strikers, a graphic novel by Keel Fegley, illustrated by Jacques Corey, published by Graphic Universe. In Flint, Michigan, 1986, hockey and life keep handing Evan and Bobby losses, but together they find reasons to keep taking the ice. How to Stay Invisible by Maggie C. Rudd, published by Farrar, Straus, and Giroux Books for young readers. Abandoned by his parents, Raymond must make his home in a cramped hollow tree in the woods near his school, keeping it a secret until his survival depends not only on his wilderness skills, but on the people and animals he chooses to trust. And lastly, The Lost Library by Rebecca Stead and Wendy Mass, published by Feiwel and Friends. When a mysterious little free library guarded by a large orange cat appears overnight, 11-year-old Evan plucks 2 weathered books from its shelves, never suspecting that his life is about to change.
And the books in our 6th through 8th grade category are Simon Sort of Says by Erin Bow, published by Disney Hyperion. 2 years after surviving a school shooting, 12-year-old Simon moves to the only place in America where the internet is banned, finally getting a chance to spin his own story with the help of a new friend. The Worlds We Leave Behind by A.F. Harold, illustrated by Levi Pinfold, published by Bloomsbury Children's Books. When his actions result in a little girl getting injured, Hex, who doesn't know why he does most of the things he does, seeks forgiveness for his choices, which have caused a ripple effect that's rewriting his whole life. Sunshine, a graphic novel by Jarrett J. Krasashka, published by Graphics. The author shares his extraordinary experiences as a counselor at Camp Sunshine, a camp for seriously ill kids and their families, where he met campers and fellow counselors who forever changed the course of his life. The Lost Year by Catherine Marsh, published by Roaring Brook Press. When his great-grandmother comes to stay with them during the pandemic, 13-year-old Matthew discovers a photo in her belongings that reveals a life-shattering family secret. In this brilliant survival story set in alternating timelines that connects the present day to 1930s Soviet Ukraine. Four Eyes, a graphic novel by Rex Ogle, illustrated by Dave Valeza, published by Graphics. When Rex finds out he needs glasses, he's beyond miserable. Dealing with the bullies at school, his family being broke, and an embarrassing lack of friends, he has way too much on his plate already. Buzzing by Samuel Satin, illustrated by Ry Hickman, published by Little Brown Inc. As a lonely 12-year-old kid with obsessive compulsive disorder, everything from studying to looking in the mirror becomes a battle between him and a swarm of unhelpful thoughts. When a group of friends invites him to join their after-school role-playing game, the thoughts feel a little less loud and the world feels a little brighter. But Isaac's therapist says that exposure to games can have negative effects on kids with OCD. And when his grades slip, his helicopter mother won't let him play anymore. Now, Isaac needs to find a way to prove to himself and to his mother that the way to quiet the noise in his head may have been inside him all along. The Labors of Hercules Beale by Gary D. Schmidt, published by Clarion. Seventh grader Hercules Beale has to figure out how to fulfill his teacher's assignment of performing the 12 labors of Hercules in real life and discovers important things about friendship, community, and himself along the way. Half Moon Summer by Elaine Vickers, published by Peachtree Publishing Company. Deciding to spend their entire summer training for a half marathon, 12-year-olds Drew and Mia, who have very different reasons for running, discover they have one crucial thing in common: hope for the future, for their families, and for each other.
Lastly are the nominees in our 9th through 12th grade category. First up is Together We Rot by Skyla Arndt, published by Viking Books. A teen girl looking for the truth about her missing mother forms a reluctant alliance with her former best friend in exchange for hiding him from his cult-leading family. Warrior Girl Unearthed by Angeline Bully, published by Henry Holt & Company. With a rising number of missing Indigenous women, her family's involvement in a murder investigation, and grave robbers profiting off her Anishinaabe tribe, Perry takes matters into her own hands to solve the mystery and reclaim her people's inheritance. If I See You Again Tomorrow by Robbie Couch, published by Simon & Schuster Books for young readers. Clark, who has relived the same Monday 309 times, finds something different about day 310 when Bo, a boy he's never seen before, appears. And as they spend this one day together, Clark falls hard and fast for someone with whom he'll have no tomorrow. Numb to This, Memoir of a Mass Shooting by Kendra Neely, published by Little Brown Ink. Providing a new perspective on gun violence, this nonfiction graphic novel portrays the mass shooting that occurred on the author's college campus and her path forward to hope through art, helping others, and sharing her story. All the Fighting Parts by Hannah V. Sawyer, published by Amulet Books. In the wake of being sexually assaulted by her pastor, 16-year-old Amina struggles to regain her footing until she finds the strength within herself to confront her abuser in court. Impossible Escape, a true story of survival and heroism in Nazi Europe by Steve Shenkin, published by Roaring Brook Press. Told in tandem, these gripping true stories follow Rudolph, who escaped Auschwitz, becoming the first survivor to expose Nazi concentration camps to the world, and Gerda, his high school friend who began to cave under pressure from German Nazis in Hungary. Chaos Theory by Nick Stone, published by Crown Books for young readers. A senior at Windward Academy, Shelby, who has a diagnosed mental illness, keeps to herself until she forms a connection with Andy Criddle, who is battling addiction. But the closer they get, the more the past threatens to pull them apart. And finally, Brooms by Jasmine Walls and Teo Duval, published by Levine Querido. It's 1930s Mississippi. Magic is permitted only in certain circumstances and by certain people. Unsanctioned broom racing is banned. But for those who need the money or the thrills, it's there to be found. Congratulations to this year's nominees.
Yes.
We have some really excellent books on our list this year, and we can't wait to see which ones students in Michigan are loving this year as the votes start rolling in. Voting, by the way, begins now, immediately following this broadcast. Michigan students need only to have read at least one title in the category in order to cast their vote, but we encourage them to read as many as they can. There are two ways to submit their votes. We have an individual student ballot for a person who's submitting their own vote, and we have an educator ballot for an adult who's submitting votes for a group of children. Could be for a class, an entire school district, a public library book club, any type of situation like that. Both are available on the Michigan Reading Association's website and also on our social media pages as well. Voting for these nominees will end on January 11th, 2025, and those winners will be announced that same year in mid-March. If you read a book that you think is fabulous, published this year or 1 year previous, please nominate it to our committee. The nomination form is also available on the MRA's website, as are the award guidelines for what is eligible. We really love nominations. Please send them in. We also have made available on the MRA's website something called Teacher Resources, and within that is a poster featuring all 40 of this year's nominees, created by committee member Amanda Pierce. Bookmarks for each age category, created by another committee member, Nicole Johnson. We also have paper ballots, lists of past winners, posters for each category. Anything we can think of that will make it easier to help you promote the award. If there is a resource that you would find helpful that you don't see there, please let us know, and if we're able to, we will make it. Committee membership is available to Michigan teachers and librarians, and that year typically runs from April 1st through mid-January of the following year. To suggest a resource, nominate a title, inquire about joining the committee, or if you have any other questions or suggestions, please reach out to Heather or myself at greatlakesgreatbooks@gmail.com. Thank you, and happy reading.
Yes, thank you, everyone, and congratulations.